Hello and welcome. Today we are tackling one of the most polarizing diets out there right now, the carnivore diet. We're going to get right into its real impact on your gut and separate what's fact from what might be fiction.
I mean, it's a pretty wild question, isn't it? But it's exactly why so many people are drawn to this all-animal way of eating. Its biggest fans claim it can solve almost anything, from autoimmune issues to nagging chronic inflammation. But is it really the miracle gut healer it's made out to be, or is there a catch? Let's dig in.
And this image, honestly, it sets up our entire conversation perfectly. You've got two paths, right? One where diet fuels inflammation and weakens your immune system, and another where it calms things down and supports it. The carnivore diet claims to be firmly on that healthy path, but as you're about to see, the real story is, well, it's a lot more complicated than that. So let's start with the big promise. What is the appeal? Why would anyone commit to such a restrictive diet? For a lot of people, the answer is simple. They're just looking for relief.
Think about it. If you're one of the millions of people dealing with something like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, or IBD, and the usual treatments aren't cutting it, you start looking for other answers. And your diet? Well, that's a powerful lever you can pull every single day. That's where the carnivore diet makes its grand entrance, offering a pretty radical solution.
The logic behind it is really all about elimination. At its core, the idea is that certain compounds in plants, things like lectins in beans, oxalates in leafy greens, or FODMAPs in all sorts of veggies, can be major irritants for a sensitive gut. So the theory goes, if you just remove all plants from the equation, you remove all those potential triggers. The goal? To calm down gut inflammation, and hopefully that overactive immune system that's causing all the problem. And you know what? For some people, the results they report are staggering. As you can see here, the benefits are chalked up to a few key things. You cut out plant irritants and all processed foods, so inflammation can go down. You're getting a huge dose of easy-to-absorb nutrients like B12 and iron. With zero carbs, your blood sugar is rock steady. And if you're eating well, like fatty fish and grass-fed meats, you're getting a ton of those anti-inflammatory omega-3s. So far, it sounds pretty amazing, right? But here's where the plot thickens. To really understand the other side of this, let's use an analogy. Let's think of your gut as a garden. It makes this whole complex system way easier to understand. So picture your gut microbiome as this beautiful, thriving garden. The carnivore diet comes in and does a fantastic job of weeding. It pulls out all those things that might be causing trouble. The lectins, the oxalates, you name it. And for some people, that brings this huge immediate sense of relief. The garden just feels cleaner, calmer. Okay, but here is the multi-million-dollar question. What happens when that same strategy, the one that's so good at pulling weeds, also cuts off the water and fertilizer for all the beautiful flowers you want to have in that garden? What happens to the whole ecosystem then? And that missing ingredient, the water for our gut garden, is fiber. It's the one crucial nutrient that is 100% absent from an all-animal diet. And that, my friends, is not a minor detail. It's a huge biological blind spot. This leads us straight to what we're calling the fiber factor. This is really the central scientific issue with a long-term carnivore diet. It's all about what happens when you intentionally starve the trillions of friendly microbes living inside you. Okay, stick with me for a second. When your good gut bacteria, the flowers in our garden, get to eat fiber, they ferment it. And through that process, they create these amazing compounds called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs. The most famous one, the real MVP, is called butyrate. You can think of butyrate as super fuel for the cells lining your colon. On top of that, it's also incredibly anti-inflammatory. It's literally one of your body's best internal tools for keeping gut inflammation under control. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because we have data. This study looked at a ketogenic diet, which, like the carnivore diet, is super low in fiber, and the results were pretty stark. In just 1 month, the production of those protective SCFAs dropped a lot. This isn't just a theory, it's a measurable biological effect. So, let's be crystal clear about this. No fiber means no food for the bacteria that make butyrate. And without that butyrate, you lose a key source of fuel for your gut lining and a major anti-inflammatory signal. So in your quest to get rid of outside irritants, you might actually be tearing down your body's own internal defense system.
And that brings us right to the heart of the debate. It's this constant tug of war. We have to weigh the benefit of eliminating potential plant triggers against the serious risk of depriving our bodies of things we know are essential.
This slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? The upside is clear. You get rid of potential irritants and all the processed junk, and yeah, that can make you feel better in the short term. But the downside is just as clear. You get rid of all fiber, which tanks your SCFA production, and you miss out on all those protective antioxidants that you can only get from plants. It's a classic double-edged sword.
And we can get even more specific. The very problems the carnivore diet can create are solved by, you guessed it, plants. Worried about your microbiome getting out of whack? Plant fibers are the prebiotics that feed the good guys. At risk for vitamin C deficiency? Fruits and veggies are loaded with it. Missing antioxidants to fight off daily damage? Plants are hands down the best source of things like polyphenols. It's like a perfect point-by-point rebuttal.
So, where does that leave us? Are we just stuck in this trap? Do we have to choose between irritating plants and starving our gut? Well, not necessarily. The smartest thinking on this topic points to a path right down the middle.
Now this is a game-changing perspective. What if we stop thinking about the carnivore diet as this lifelong all-or-nothing identity? What if, instead, we saw it as a powerful but temporary clinical tool? A way to hit the reset button, calm the whole system down, before building it back up even stronger.
So here's how that might look in the real world. Step 1, elimination. You go strict carnivore for a short period, maybe 2 to 8 weeks, just to quiet down all the noise and inflammation. Step 2 is stabilization. You find that new, symptom-free baseline. And then comes the most important part, Step 3, reintroduction. You begin to carefully and systematically add back certain plant foods to figure out what your body can actually handle and thrive on.
And this isn't just random. The reintroduction part can be totally personalized. Just look at this table. If you have a sensitive gut, maybe you start with low FODMAP veggies like cooked zucchini. If you're worried about your heart, you'd want to bring in things like oats and berries. And for chronic inflammation, you could look to powerhouses like broccoli sprouts or turmeric. It's all about being strategic. And that right there is the end game. The whole point isn't to live in a food bubble forever. It's to use a temporary tool to help heal your gut and calm your immune system so that you can ultimately restore your body's tolerance to a wide variety of healthy, awesome plant foods. The real goal is resilience, not lifelong restriction. So let's just quickly wrap up the key takeaways here. Number 1, yes, the carnivore diet can offer some people short-term relief by getting rid of triggers. Number 2, its biggest long-term risk is that it starves your microbiome of fiber, which is essential for making those protective SCFAs. Number 3, the smartest approach seems to be using it as a temporary reset, not a forever plan. And finally, all of this really points to one thing. The future of nutrition is personal. Which really leaves us with this one final thought to chew on. Maybe this endless debate about finding the one perfect diet for everyone is just pointless. Maybe the real mission is to use all the tools and knowledge we have to build the perfect, most resilient diet for your unique body. What do you think? Thanks for tuning in.